Imagine waking up every morning with a fire in your belly, a purpose in your heart, and an unwavering commitment to your dreams. That, my friends, is the power of consistency. It's not just a word, it's a lifestyle, a choice, a weapon that can shatter the barriers between you and your wildest aspirations. Success is not an accident, it's not a stroke of luck or a random occurrence. Success is the result of small, deliberate actions performed consistently over time. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the world seems to be conspiring against you. You see, many people are waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. They're hoping for that magical moment when everything aligns and they suddenly feel inspired to chase their dreams. But let me break it to you, that's not how life works. Motivation is fleeting, unreliable. It's like a fair weather friend who disappears when you need it most. What you need, what will truly transform your life, is consistency. Consistency is the backbone of achievement, the secret sauce of success, the hidden ingredient that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Think about it. The greatest achievements in human history weren't accomplished overnight. They were the result of consistent effort, relentless pursuit, and unwavering dedication. The pyramids weren't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. And your dreams, your goals, your vision for your life, they won't materialize in a day either. But here's the good news. You have the power to shape your destiny one day at a time. You have the ability to force yourself to be consistent, to make a conscious decision every single day to move towards your goals, no matter how small the step may be. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but it's hard to be consistent. I've tried before and I always fall off track. And you're right, consistency is hard. If it were easy, everyone would be living their dream life. But let me tell you something. The things worth having in life are rarely easy. They require effort, sacrifice, and yes, consistency. So how do you force yourself to be consistent day by day? It starts with a mindset shift. You need to understand that consistency isn't about perfection. It's not about making giant leaps every single day. It's about progress, no matter how small. Imagine you're building a house. You don't start by trying to construct the entire building in one go. No, you start by laying one brick at a time, and you do it every single day. Some days you might lay 10 bricks. Other days, when life gets tough, you might only manage one. But the key is this: you lay that brick every. That's what consistency looks like in practice. It's about showing up day after day and doing what needs to be done. It's about creating habits and routines that align with your goals. It's about making promises to yourself and keeping them no matter what. Now, let's talk about the power of small, consistent actions. Many people underestimate the impact of small actions performed consistently over time. They're always looking for the big break, the quantum leap that will catapult them to success overnight. But that's not how real, lasting success works. Success is the product of compound interest. Just like money grows exponentially when invested consistently over time, your efforts compound when applied consistently day after day. That small action you take today might not seem significant, but when you repeat it tomorrow and the day after and the day after that, suddenly you're creating momentum. And momentum, my friends, is unstoppable. Think about a river carving through solid rock. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of water consistently flowing day after day, year after year, century after century. The water might seem weak compared to the rock, but its consistency gives it the power to reshape landscapes. You are that river. Your dreams are that landscape. And consistency is the flow that will carve your path to success. But here's the thing about consistency. It's not always exciting. In fact, most of the time it's downright boring. It's doing the same things day in and day out, often without immediate visible results. And that's where most people falter. They get bored, they get discouraged, they give up. But not you. You're different. You understand that the magic happens in the mundane. You know that those daily actions, those small steps, those seemingly insignificant habits, they're the building blocks of your future success. So how do you stay consistent when it gets tough? When you don't see immediate results, when life throws curveballs your way, that's where the force yourself to be consistent comes into play. You see, consistency isn't about feeling motivated all the time. It's about developing discipline. It's about doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It's about making a commitment to yourself and honoring it come hell or high water. Imagine you're training for a marathon. You don't wait until you feel like running to lace up your shoes. No, you set a schedule and you stick to it. Raining or shine, tired or energized, you show up and you run. That's the kind of discipline you need to cultivate in every area of your life. But here's the beautiful thing about forcing yourself to be consistent. Over time, it becomes easier. What once felt like a struggle becomes second nature. The habits you're forcing yourself to develop today will become the routines that define your success tomorrow. Now, let's talk about the obstacles you'll face on your journey to consistency. Because make no mistake, there will be obstacles. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the mountain seems too high to climb, when the goal seems too far out of reach. That's what you need to remember. Obstacles are not stop signs. They're guidelines. They're opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming stronger. Every time you push through resistance, every time you choose consistency over comfort, you're building mental muscle. You're developing the resilience that will carry you through any challenge life throws your way. One of the biggest obstacles you'll face is the voice in your head telling you it's okay to skip just this once. It's just one day, it'll say. You can make up for it tomorrow. But let me tell you something. That voice is a liar. That voice is the enemy of your dreams. It's never just one day. One day becomes two. Two become a week. A week becomes a month. And before you know it, you're back where you started, wondering why you can't seem to make progress. That's why you need to be ruthless with your consistency. You need to make a non-negotiable commitment to yourself. You need to decide right here and right now that you will show up for yourself every single day, no matter what. And when that voice in your head tries to talk you out of it, you need to talk back. You need to remind yourself why you started this journey in the first place. You need to reconnect with your vision, your purpose, your why. Consistency isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the person who is capable of achieving those goals. It's about transformation. It's about growth. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, every time you force yourself to show up when you don't feel like it, you're not just moving closer to your goals. You're building character. You're developing discipline. You're becoming someone who can be relied upon, not just by others, but by yourself. And that, my friends, is priceless because when you know you can rely on yourself, when you know you have the discipline to do what needs to be done day in and day out, there's nothing you can't achieve. Now, let's talk about the role of planning and consistency. Because while consistency is about action, effective action requires planning. You need to know what you're working towards, and you need a roadmap to get there. Start by setting clear, specific goals. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Define what success looks like for you. Is it starting your own business, writing a book, losing weight, whatever it is? Make it specific, make it measurable, and most importantly, make it meaningful to you. Once you have your goals, break them down into smaller, actionable steps. Remember, consistency is about small, daily actions. So what can you do every day to move closer to your goals? If your goal is to write a book, maybe it's writing 500 words a day. If it's losing weight, maybe it's exercising for 30 minutes a day and planning your meals. Then create a schedule. Allocate specific times for your consistent actions. Treat these times as sacred. They're appointments with your future self. And you wouldn't cancel on your future self, would you? But here's the key with your planning. Don't try to change everything overnight. Start small. Focus on one or two key areas where you want to be consistent. As these become habits, you can add more. Remember, consistency is a marathon, not a sprint. Now let's address a common misconception about consistency. Many people think that being consistent means doing the same things every day without any variation. But that's not true. Consistency is about the overall direction, not about rigid adherence to a set routine. There will be days when life gets in the way. There will be days when you need to adjust your plans. And that's okay. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about getting back on track when you veer off course. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Don't use it as an excuse to give up. Instead, ask yourself why you missed it. Learn from it, and then get right back on track the next day. Remember, it's not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. This flexibility is crucial because life is unpredictable. If your consistency depends on everything going perfectly, you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, develop a consistency that can weather storms, that can adapt to changing circumstances, that can keep moving forward no matter what. Now, let's talk about the importance of tracking your consistency. Because here's the thing. What gets measured gets managed. When you track your consistent actions, you create accountability for yourself. You make your progress visible. And there's nothing more motivating than seeing how far you've come. Start a consistency journal. Every day, write down the actions you took towards your goals, celebrate your wins. No matter how small, reflect on your challenges. Look for patterns. This journal will become a powerful tool in your consistency arsenal. But don't just track your actions, track your results too. Remember those specific, measurable goals we talked about earlier? Regularly checking in on your progress towards them. Are you moving in the right direction? Are your consistent actions yielding the results you want? If not, it might be time to adjust your approach. This brings us to another crucial aspect of consistency, the willingness to adapt. You see, consistency isn't about blindly doing the same things over and over. It's about consistently moving towards your goals. And sometimes that means changing your approach. If you be consistent with your actions, but you're not seeing results, don't be afraid to try something new. Consistency is about the commitment, not the specific actions. As long as you're consistently working towards your goals, you're on the right track. Now let's address one of the biggest enemies of consistency, procrastination. We've all been there. We know what we need to do, but we keep putting it off. I'll start tomorrow. We tell ourselves. But here's the harsh truth. Tomorrow never comes. There's only today. Procrastination is a thief. It steals your time, your potential, your dreams. And the only way to beat it is through consistent action. When you feel the urge to procrastinate, that's exactly when you need to force yourself to take action. Start small. If the task seems overwhelming, break it down into smaller steps. If you're procrastinating on writing that report, tell yourself you'll just write one paragraph. If you're putting off that workout, commit to just 5 minutes of exercise. Often, once you start, you'll find the momentum to keep going. Remember, action precedes motivation. Don't wait until you feel like doing something. Do it, and the feeling will follow. That's the secret of consistent people. They don't wait for the right mood or the perfect moment. They create the right mood through consistent action. Now, let's talk about the role of environment in consistency. Your environment can either support your consistency or sabotage it. Take a look around you. Is your environment conducive to the consistent actions you want to take? If not, it's time for a change. If you want to be consistent with healthy eating, clear out the junk food from your pantry. If you want to be consistent with your work, create a dedicated workspace free from distractions. If you want to be consistent with exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Your environment should make your consistent actions the path of least resistance. It should make it easier to do the right thing than the wrong thing. But your environment isn't just physical, it's also social. The people you surround yourself with have a huge impact on your consistency. Are the people in your life supportive of your goals? Do they encourage your consistent efforts? If not, it might be time to reevaluate some relationships. Seek out people who inspire you, who challenge you, who hold you accountable. Join groups or communities of like-minded individuals who are also striving for consistency. Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely. Now, let's address a common pitfall on the journey to consistency: the all or nothing mindset. This is the belief that if you can't do something perfectly, there's no point in doing it at all. It's the voice that says, well, I've already messed up today, might as well give up entirely. This mindset is poison to consistency. It sets unrealistic expectations and sets you up for failure. Remember, consistency isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about doing something, anything, to move towards your goals every day. If you plan to exercise for an hour but only have 15 minutes, if you aim to write 1,000 words, but only manage 100, write those 100 words. Something is always better than nothing. And over time, those small actions add up to significant results. Adopt a growth mindset. See every action, no matter how small, as a step forward. Celebrate your efforts, not just your outcomes. Because here's the truth. The effort is what you can control. The outcomes will follow. Now, let's talk about the power of rituals in fostering consistency. Rituals are powerful because they take the decision-making out of consistency. They create a structure that supports your consistent actions. Create morning and evening rituals that align with your goals. Maybe it's starting your day with meditation and exercise. Maybe it's ending your day by reviewing your goals and planning for tomorrow. Whatever it is, make it a non-negotiable part of your day. These rituals become anchors for your consistency. They create a rhythm to your days, a steady beat that keeps you moving forward. And over time, they become so ingrained that you do them without even thinking about it. That's when consistency becomes truly effortless. But remember, building these rituals takes time. It takes, you guessed it, consistency. Be patient with yourself. It takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. That's just over 2 months of consistent effort. Can you commit to that? Can you force yourself to be consistent for just 2 months? Because if you can, you'll create habits that will serve you for a lifetime. Fear is the elephant in the room. Fear. Fear is often the hidden force behind inconsistency. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of change. These can all hold you back from consistent action. It's just a feeling, and feelings can't stop you unless you let them. When you feel fear creeping in, acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to protect you, and then do what you need to do anyway. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the face of fear. And every time you choose consistent action despite your fear, you're building courage. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought possible. Let's talk about the role of rest in consistency. It might seem counterintuitive, but rest is crucial for maintaining long-term consistency. You can't go full throttle all the time. You'll burn out, and burnout is the enemy of consistency. Schedule regular rest and recovery periods. Take breaks throughout your day. Get enough sleep. Take a day off each week to recharge. These aren't luxuries. They're necessities. They're what allow you to show up consistently day after day, week after week, month after month. Consistency is a marathon, not a sprint. And in a marathon, pacing is everything. You need to know when to push and when to recover. That balance is what allows you to keep going, to stay consistent over the long. Now let's talk about the power of visualization in maintaining consistency. Your mind is an incredibly powerful tool. And when you harness it through visualization, you can supercharge your consistency. Take time each day to visualize yourself taking consistent action. See yourself overcoming obstacles, pushing through resistance, achieving your goals. Make this visualization as vivid and detailed as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the satisfaction of consistent action. Taste. This visualization serves two purposes. First, it reinforces your commitment to consistency. It reminds you why you're doing what you're doing. Second, it prepares your mind for the reality of consistent action. It creates a mental blueprint that your actions can follow. Remember, your mind doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you consistently visualize success, you're training your brain for success. You're creating neural pathways that make consistent action feel natural and inevitable. Now, let's address a crucial aspect of consistency that often gets overlooked: self-compassion. Many people approach consistency with a drill sergeant mentality. They berate themselves for every slip up, every moment of weakness. But here's the truth: that approach doesn't work, at least not in the long run. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. And persistence requires self-compassion. When you slip up, and you will slip up because you're human, don't beat yourself up. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. What would you say to a friend who was struggling with consistency? Would you berate them, or would you encourage them, remind them of how far they've come, and help them get back on track? Treat yourself with that same kindness. Self-compassion isn't about making excuses. It's about acknowledging that the path to success isn't always straight. It has twists and turns, ups and downs, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, that you keep choosing consistency even when it's hard. Now let's talk about the power of identity in driving consistency. You see, the most powerful form of consistency comes not from forcing yourself to do something, but from becoming the kind of person who naturally does that thing. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, say, I am a writer. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, say, I am an athlete. When you shift your identity, your actions naturally follow, because now you're not just doing something, you're being someone. This identity shift is powerful because it taps into your innate desire for consistency. Once you've declared yourself to be something, you'll naturally want your actions to align with that declaration. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But remember, this identity shift doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of, you guessed it, consistent action. Every time you take action in alignment with your desired identity, you're reinforcing that identity. you're becoming more and more the person you want to be. Now, let's address a common challenge in maintaining consistency: decision fatigue. Every decision you make throughout the day depletes your willpower. And when your willpower is depleted, it becomes harder to make the right choices to stay consistent. The solution: reduce the number of decisions you need to make. Automate as much as possible. Plan your meals in advance. Lay out your clothes the night before. Create systems and routines that take the decision making out of consistency. This is why many successful people wear the same outfit every day or eat the same breakfast. They're not being boring, they're being smart, they're conserving their decision making energy for the things that really matter. By reducing decision fatigue, you make it easier to stay consistent. You remove the mental barriers that often stand between you and your consistent actions. And over time, these actions become so automatic that they barely require any willpower at all. Now, let's talk about the power of momentum and consistency. You see, consistency creates momentum, and momentum is a force that can carry you through even the toughest times. Think of it like pushing a boulder up a hill. At first, it's hard. It takes everything you got just to get it moving. But as you keep pushing, as you stay consistent, something magical happens. The boulder starts to move more easily. It gains momentum. And once you reach the top of the hill, that same momentum carries the boulder down the other side. Suddenly, what was once hard becomes easy. What once required immense effort now happens almost automatically. That's the power of consistency. It creates momentum that makes everything easier. But here's the key: you have to keep pushing long enough to create that momentum. You have to force yourself to be consistent even when you don't see immediate results. Because here's the truth: the results of consistency often show up all at once, even though the work was gradual. It's like the bamboo tree that seems to grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, but only after developing a root system for 4 years. Those 4 years of consistent effort might not show visible results, but they're essential for the explosive growth that follows. So don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results from your consistency. Trust the process. Keep pushing that boulder, because once you create momentum, there's no stopping you. Now let's address a crucial aspect of consistency that often gets overlooked: celebrating your wins, no matter how small. You see, consistency isn't just about the end goal, it's about the journey. And that journey is made up of countless small victories. Did you stick to your workout routine today? Celebrate that. Did you resist the urge to procrastinate and get your work done? Celebrate that. Did you make a healthy food choice when you were tempted to indulge? Celebrate that. These celebrations serve two purposes. First, they provide positive reinforcement. They train your brain to associate consistent action with pleasure, making it more likely that you repeat those actions in the future. Second, they help you recognize your progress. Often we're so focused on how far we have to go that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come. But recognizing your progress is crucial for maintaining motivation and, by extension, consistency. So make celebration a part of your consistency routine. Keep a victory journal. Share your wins with a supportive friend or community. Give yourself small rewards for consistent action. Because when you celebrate the small wins, you create the motivation to go after the big ones. Now let's talk about the importance of purpose in driving consistency. You see, consistency becomes much easier when you're clear about why you're doing what you're doing. When you have a compelling purpose, a vision that excites you, consistency becomes not just a discipline, but a joy. Why are you seeking consistency? What's the bigger picture? How will your consistent actions contribute to the life you want to live, the person you want to become, the impact you want to have on the world? Connect your consistent actions to your values, your passions, your deepest desires. Because when you do, you tap into a wellspring of motivation that can carry you through even the toughest time. Remember, consistency isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve those goals. It's about growth, about transformation, about becoming the best version of yourself. So don't just focus on what you want to achieve. Focus on who you want to become. Let that vision guide your consistent actions. Let it be the fire that fuels your consistency day after day, week after week, year after year. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge to force yourself to be consistent starting today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more motivated or when circumstances are perfect. Today, start small. Choose one area of your life where you want to be more consistent. It could be your health, your work, your relationships, your personal growth. Choose one small action that you can commit to doing every single day. Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes. Maybe it's making your bed every morning. Whatever it is, commit to doing it every day for the next 30 days. No excuses, no days off. 30 days. That's all I'm asking. 30 days of forced consistency. Can you do it? Of course you can. And here's what will happen when you do. First, you'll prove to yourself that you can be consistent. You'll build confidence in your ability to follow through on your commitments. Second, you'll start to see the power of compounding. Those small, consistent actions will start to add up, creating noticeable changes in your life. Third, you'll develop the habit of consistency. What once felt like a struggle will start to feel natural, automatic. And finally, you'll experience the satisfaction, the sense of achievement that comes from consistent action. You'll taste the sweetness of progress, of becoming the person you want to be. So take this challenge. Commit to it right now. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. The perfect moment is whenever you decide to start. Remember, consistency is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about making a promise to yourself and keeping it, no matter what. You have greatness within you. You have the power to shape your destiny, to create the life you want, to become the person you're meant to be. And consistency is the key that unlocks that potential. So force yourself to be consistent. Push through the resistance. Overcome the obstacles. Create the habits that will create your future. Because when you harness the power of consistency, there's nothing you can't achieve. Your future self is watching you right now, cheering you on, believing in you. Don't let that future self down. Be consistent. Be persistent. Be unstoppable. The world's waiting for the gifts that only you can give, the impact that only you can make. And it all starts with consistency. It all starts with a decision you make right now, in this moment, to force yourself to be consistent day by day. So what are you waiting for? The time is now. Your future is calling. Answer it with consistency, with commitment, with the unshakable determination to become the best version of yourself.
Remember, success is not an accident. It's a choice you make every single day through your consistent actions. So choose success. Choose growth. Choose to become the person you're meant to be.
Force yourself to be consistent day by day, and watch as you transform your life, achieve your dreams, and create a legacy that will inspire generations to come. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. What will you do with it?